What's up, guys? Welcome to another NBA rundown courtesy of Run Pure Sports, Run Pure Bets. Please like the video. Please subscribe so we continue to get more of these winners out to you. This great betting content. We got the bet side, we got the DFS side. We're all coming together to try and make sure we give you the best content available. That being said, how are you doing today, JSU?
We're doing good. Yesterday got hurt a little bit with some of the props. I like the Al Horford over on assists. Didn't quite get there. Didn't love it as much when Maladon got ruled in, which I thought kind of hurt him a little bit because it just gave another guard to kind of soak up some of the ball handling duties and the perimeter duties. But hey, we'll get back at it. We like Toronto as a dog. That kind of came through, and we'll pick some winners tonight. We got the big man, Big T, on, so we're definitely gonna pick some winners.
All right, yeah, Big T, how you doing? You ready to do this? Are the winners flowing through your blood today? How you feeling?
Feeling good. Anytime I can come on with you two, it's a good day. I mean, the same speech I give usually. One of the best DFS tournament players in the world, one of the best NBA handicappers in the world, and Big T. So I can't go wrong today.
All right, let's do it. I can feel you guys that we're going to find some good information, find these great spots, and allow you guys to bank some more of these tournaments. Now, the first game we've got New York heading down to Orlando. Orlando's getting +4. I'd say the Orlando, I mean, we've had tons of injuries this season, right? But Orlando might have been the team hurt the worst by all these injuries, right? I mean, Fultz going out was just terrible. Obviously, Jonathan Isaac didn't even start this season. I'm seeing Aaron Gordon and Cole Anthony also on the list as well. Did you guys have any more injury news before we jump into this one? Because that seems pretty crucial nowadays.
What you got, JSU?
No, I mean Evan Fournier is the key one, but outside of that, nothing that we don't know. Mitchell Robinson's going to be out for a little while, so yeah. I mean you hit on the main ones, anyways. Obviously, Fournier is the biggest one from the Orlando side. I think we got to stay up on. Cole Anthony's going to be out for a while too, so they said he won't be back till probably the All-Star break, maybe after. So, they're going to be shorthanded for a while, but we'll see if Fournier comes back. That's a little boost, right, for their team overall.
No, Fournier is huge for that team, and Mitchell Robinson. At first, I wasn't. I thought that the Knicks would be able to absorb that pretty well, but I watched Nerlens Noel. That guy can't move anymore. He was missing rebounds left and right in their last game, so that does concern me a little bit. That being said, I'm on this Knicks train. They've been cashing for me, and I'm thinking about going right back to the well. What do you think, Big T? Is there any reason why I should not play the Knicks here?
I'm with you, man. This Orlando team, it started, a week ago or in that range? The night I was talking to JSU one of the nights I was talking to JSU a bunch on the phone. But I mean, Cole Anthony goes down in the first half, and that's when everything started to spiral for him a little bit. I mean, this roster is absolutely horrendous, and the Knicks they've been kind of underrated a little bit. So I'm with you. Usually I like the dogs in this spot. I'm on the Knicks, though. The Knicks are just a way better team. Look at the rosters, better players all around. I mean, the Knicks kind of even have a deep roster in a way. They got too many guards. Orlando has no guards. As far as betting, strictly betting, it looks easy to take the Knicks, and I'm going to be on the Knicks. I don't see how Orlando keeps the pace in this one. I could see the Knicks winning by double digits pretty comfortably. Besides Vooch, I mean, is Michael Carter-Williams seriously there? I guess Terrence Ross. I was going to say, is Michael Carter-Williams your second best player? You got problems. But I'll say the same thing. If Terrence Ross is your second best player, you got problems. Even though he's a scorer, give me the Knicks. DFS-wise, we got to wait on the news. I mean, Ross is priced. I'm not paying over $6K for Terrence Ross. I know JSU likes him more than me. He does chuck. So sure, he could get there, but I'm not paying $6,300 for Terrence Ross. I'm just not doing it.
What makes you think that I'm paying $6,300 for Terrence Ross? You just throwing it out there like, oh, I know JSU's gonna like.
You like Terrence Ross normally, so
I like Terrence Ross, but I'm paying 4.8K, 5.2K for him.
It just shows you though, like DFS is all about pricing. Once they get up there. 6,300 is heavy. And the rest of this roster, man, is just no go for me. The Knicks, too. I don't see much DFS-wise in this game, so I may just bet the Knicks and move on. I wish they would give – I say this every time we do a show, but I wish Quickly would get 35 minutes because he's a total stud, and he just doesn't get the minutes. So,
yeah, and it's weird that a Thibodeau coach player is not getting the minutes you need, right?
He just hates young guys. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Well, and too, now they got Derrick Rose, so now Derrick Rose is getting.
I think they run good together.
They run great together. No, they should play together.
So, like, honestly, that's the issue, though, is there's too many guards that are, like, pretty solid. Like, even Alec Burks, like, you may not think he's great, but he's solid. Like, he should get 18 to 20 minutes on this Knicks team. The problem is they have too many of those guys, and they're already running out Reggie Bullock, like, 22 to 25. Like, what are we doing with Reggie Bullock? Like, get him out of the lineup. Stop pushing him in there. Play Quickly and Rose.
Stop playing Alfred Payton. Like, get him out of there.
Yeah, another one. Like, well, I think Derrick Rose and Quickly should honestly start. I would love it. The problem is when Randall's out of the game, you need those guys in for their offense. They're really good offensively together, and they've clicked well together. So that's a good thing for the Knicks. I agree with Tony. Like, the Knicks is definitely the side that I want to be on today. I think they're just the better team. And their coach, like, the way he runs, like, his best player or two players, really, like, he plays to win. Like, he's pushing these guys minutes. Like, Randall's going to play 38 to 40 minutes in a close game. And I just think the Knicks are the better team overall with all the Orlando injuries. They don't have a real point guard. Michael Carter-Williams is, like Tony said, like, he's your second best player, Terrence Ross. Like, that's not going to cut it. That's definitely not going to work here. So unless Vooch goes for like 45 real points, then I see this being a real rough game for the Orlando Magic. I also want to say, too, in the chat, Nutflush Allen, I do remember you yesterday. You had two really good calls. You called the team total for the Suns with cash and the Lakers. You said take them live, and he took them live at +1.5 after they got – you called both those in the chat. I know we talked about the Lakers a little bit too, but you were on that Suns team total. Props to you. Both those really good calls in the chat. Hopefully some people tailed those calls because they were really good. Just wanted to shout you out because I do remember those calls in the chat.
Yeah, those were two fantastic calls, and he read the script on those games perfectly. So let's see if he can continue to drop some more gems in there tonight. The next game we got Boston. I like Boston. They open at 4.5, drop down to 2. Is that just off the Kemba news? I know that they're off a back-to-back is the only thing that concerns me because I've been on the straight Atlanta fade. I know they made a lot of moves in the offseason. Some of these guys are barely playing. Bogdanovich hasn't really got a chance to play. Gallinari's back, but he doesn't seem to be 100% to me. And then, we talk about it every time we talk about Atlanta. Loss of DeAndre Hunter is really hurting. I don't think that Cam Reddish is ready for that role yet. I was thinking about taking Boston -2 yet, in spite of no Kemba. My only concern is the back-to-back. What do you think, Big T?
Yeah, so Boston, I obviously was heavy on this game last night, Boston and the Nuggets, and I watched super close, like always when I'm invested in these games. And Boston just doesn't look right to me. I know they got the job done last night, but the Nuggets played friggin' awful. So there was more of the Nuggets than what Boston did. Now Kemba's out, which I don't really care that much about, but they just don't look right to me. Tatum, since he got COVID, just hasn't looked normal. I mean, he looks okay. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's not bad, but he just doesn't look right. And this spread kind of looks wrong, too, as a back-to-back. But Atlanta just – you said it right, spread. I mean, they're getting a lot of love all season. It feels like every time we do this show, they're like a 2-point dog in a tough spot, and it always looks easy to take Boston here. I like Atlanta again, even though it might not be the right. I just don't think Boston looks right. So
I don't think either team looks right.
That's true.
Point, I read an article in The Athletic today. Tatum said exactly what you said. I haven't fully recovered from COVID yet. I do not have my win back. I'm not where I used to be. So from DFS, right? Is it Jaylen Brown season, JSU?
Well, I mean, he's the one who by far looks the best if you're just talking about from the team in general. So, yeah, he makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people, too, are noticing that and the usage numbers and everything that Jaylen Brown's been doing. I expect him to be the most popular of the two. Tatum will be lower owned. So, if you're looking at it from a tournament perspective, I agree. Like, Tatum has looked bad. I watched that entire game. He did not look right. And yeah, he had some good plays. Like that assist he had where he was on the ground and he threw the ball to like a clean pass to Jaylen Brown, like a soccer throw in, and he was lying flat on his back. Like that was a ridiculous pass. Like that was sweet. But like he just offensively doesn't, it looks rusty and he looks like he needs a break. He's not getting like 37, 38 minutes like in close games he will get or normally gets. He's getting like 32, 33. It seems like he needs a little bit more of a break, and Jaylen Brown doesn't. Jaylen Brown's getting more minutes. So all that coupled together with the back-to-back, who knows what they do with his minutes. Like maybe they ease him even more. Like all that stuff terrifies me. But from my tournament side, I want to say, well, Jason Tatum, he's going to be lower owned because of that. And Jaylen Brown is going to be really high owned. But I understand why. Like, it should be that way. Brown should be more popular. He's also cheaper on all the sites. So, I mean, I can't go wrong with Jaylen Brown. What else interests me, though, is Nesmith, who was the rookie they drafted in the first round. He was like the shooter who kind of dropped in the draft. He was one of the best shooters in college and comes to Boston, and all of a sudden the last two games, like last night, he was the first one off the bench. He was the first guy off, played around 24 minutes. The night before, he played a little more than that. He's getting solid run, and he's really cheap. Robert Williams, who we talked about on the show, me, you, and Mangone yesterday. And Mangone, I know he shipped all the money, but he liked Tristan, and Tristan was the chalk. And Robert Williams comes out there, and what does he do? He outperforms Tristan, and he's cheaper than Tristan, and he played less minutes than Tristan. I always say this, when you have two guys, and one guy is clearly just a better player, he's just better. Like one guy is washed, and one guy is better and younger. Always go with the better, younger guy. Like even if he's getting 6 less minutes, like who cares? Like 6 less minutes doesn't matter. Like he could still outdo the washed older guy, like the older vet. And that's what happened there. I talk about it all the time, but like always play the better player unless the minutes are drastic. Like if you told me Tristan was getting 33 minutes and Robert Williams was getting 15, yeah, okay, Tristan's the play. But when it's close like that, 20 to 26, 27 minutes, it's the better player every single time. And I said the Celtics didn't want to give this dude 32, 33 minutes. They didn't. That's what happened.
Big T, with Kemba out, do you think Peyton Pritchard would be worth a look?
God, he just doesn't have much upside. JSU had a great call on Nesmith. He looked good last night. I know you look at his numbers and he might not stick off the page, which is great. I hope he's sneaky because Kemba's out tonight, back-to-back, young guy. We could see an explosion spot from this dude. And
Tony, he's $3K, by the way. I didn't even say his price tag
right now. I'm loving it. Like he looked good last night. Like hit a couple really nice shots on a back-to-back. I love that call. Hopefully he's low on. You can play him with Time Lord too. So you got two guys for 6.1. Whew, that looks real tasty.
All right. Well, before we move on, I liked Boston. Big T liked Atlanta. JSU, pick a side. Which team would you rather have in this case for having a ticket?
I have been against Atlanta without DeAndre Hunter this whole time. Like I'm telling you right now, DeAndre Hunter is a bigger loss than I think everyone's and they've been without him for so long. It feels like for so long now that like I feel like people just kind of forgot about him. He is such an important, like especially for this matchup where you've got wings like Tatum and Brown and you don't have DeAndre Hunter. That becomes a mismatch now for both those guys on the wings. They have to guard because DeAndre Hunter is their best defender, and he's so much improved on the offensive end.
Right.
I'm going to go the Boston side. I think the spread's too close. I'm going the Boston side. I like them to win this game. I'll take them with the 2, or just money line, but I think they're the better play here.
All right. The next game, one of these big spreads that that I don't like them. Big T doesn't like them, but we're going to talk about them. We're going to break them down anyways, and that's Houston heading to Philadelphia. This opened at 11.5. They took a little money, 10.5. I don't know if that money is people believing in Houston or thinking that Embiid might sit again. Do you guys have any word on that? Because I see him as what,
He's
questionable.
probable.
Probable now, okay. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
after
he's
getting
probable.
our the way that they treated us with that game on what was the night where he got pulled in, Doc Rivers says he's going to play at 5. We all place our bets because that was the word we're waiting on, and then he gets pulled 45 minutes before the game. Still got that sour taste in my mouth from Utah. I'm not happy with you, Doc Rivers. Like, if you don't know, you don't know, right? Don't give us the fake information so we place the bets. I should have just juiced out. We got a little bit live, but wasn't happy about that at all. On the other side, boy, this Houston team's a mass shooting as well. Christian Wood, Victor Oladipo, Eric Gordon, all going to miss the game tonight, and I don't know if I really trust. I mean, what year was it that you guys played at Kentucky? It was a long time ago that John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins were fast, athletic, and good. I don't know if I trust them here, but 10.5 points is a lot. We usually lean towards taking the points. It seems like a dog or pass, and I'm right now. I'm leaning towards pass. What do you think, JSU?
Yeah. So which game we got? The Philly game, right?
Yeah, it's 10.5 right now.
I think that this game is a complete pass. Like,
okay,
I really could see Philadelphia crushing Houston. They have nobody to guard Joel Embiid. Like, if Embiid is,
if he plays,
if he is in, which it looks like he's probable, like you said, I mean, he was supposed to play last game, gets scratched late. I assume it was precautionary, anyways. They just, maybe he didn't feel right, and he went out in warm ups and then said, like, now it's not as good as I thought. So who knows? Maybe he goes out in warm ups today and it's not feeling right again, and they scratch him again. But if he plays, this is a complete stay away, because I honestly could see them beating Houston by 25, 30 points. I would not be shocked. Houston just is a bad matchup, I think. No one to guard them. They don't want to play Cousins anyways. They might be forced into playing Cousins. In either way, Cousins can't guard Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is so much better. He's going to face up on DeMarcus Cousins almost every possession, and he's going to either go right by him or just shoot that little bunny shot that he makes right over him every single time, because Cousins is going to kind of back off of him. Give him that, because if he gets up in his face, Joel Embiid's just going to draw a foul or go right by him. It's too easy for him. So Cousins is too slow with his feet. I know Tony's talked about this before. Just he can't defend. Like, he can't move. Yeah. He can't move his feet. Can't defend. So I think this is a complete stay away. Embiid would smash, though, if this game stayed close. Like, if you stack this game in DFS, like, you honestly should play a bunch of Houston like value guys if you're playing Embiid, because Embiid, if this game stays close, will absolutely crush.
All right, Big T, I know you like the dogs. Are you going to jump in and take the dog here?
Man, I can't argue with you guys today. Like, Houston, whew. I usually say dog or pass, exactly like you said. Here, I think it's more of a favorite or pass. And I'm probably going to lean pass, too, because Philly has a lot of unknown, too. Embiid could get scratched at the last second, too. Lots of unknown. You don't know how motivated they'll be either. So it's probably a pass, but I could never play Houston here. Again, just look at the roster. I mean, man, Nwaba, McLemore, Tate, Sterling Brown, House, PJ Tucker, even if he plays. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins, this roster sucks. I'm not even a big fan of John Wall this year. And, yeah, it looks like fantasy-wise, I think I'm going to pretty much be off too, which – will probably be pretty contrarian, I think, because like guys like Nwaba are going to be high owned just because of the price and the opportunity. But I don't like the spot, so I think I'm just off this game all the way around.
Yeah, I mean that Houston roster might be like what, -4 against the G League Ignite. I
mean, if you somehow say Wall somehow rolled an ankle or something, like this team would, I can't even describe how bad it would be.
Yeah, I mean, they had a nice little run when they had everybody healthy, but Gordon out, Oladipo out. I mean, they're just that's the whole key to the team is that they can stop the point of attack with those two.
Yeah.
And now you just got guys that basically aren't very good on offense and can't defend. So really,
hold
really
on, time out. So this dude Eric in the chat, he says.
First of all, it's Eric Bischoff of NWO fame.
I'm a huge NWO fan. But hold on, time out, Eric Bischoff. Like, so he's saying, aren't you guys experts? Embiid is out. He's not playing. So I said, where do you see that? And he says he won't play. No reason for him to play. Like what? So what are you following? Like, are you seeing into the future, Eric? Like what you're just guessing. So you're just guessing he's going to be out. You don't know for a fact he's going to be out. Like,
if he
ends up being a call, like
when he's wrong, you just won't hear from him again. He'll just
that's just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, like what if there's contact tracing? Does that count for you? If he gets contact tracing, he gets ruled out because he can't play. Like, are you going to be like, oh, told you Embiid wasn't going to play? Or like if he gets hurt in warmups, you're going to be like, oh, I told you. No, that's if he's healthy, he's gonna play. Like, it's not on a bet. They didn't play last night. They have no reason to rest him. The first set of injury reports came out. That's just silly. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
All right. Well, as much as I like the NWA, we will go ahead and we'll move on. And this is a game actually that I had circled, and this is probably my favorite look so far. Definitely want to talk with you guys though before I place it. And that's Chicago as a home dog. Now, when I was going over these games last night, it was 4.5. I wake up this morning, it's 3. And I talked to JSU before we started up. He said there's not a lot of injury news, so I guess Detroit's getting a little love because they won 2 games in a row against Boston and New Orleans. We know that Blake Griffin is bye-bye. I mean, they're trying to trade him. I don't know. Maybe the G League Ignite will trade him. I can't see an NBA team wanting Blake at this point. And then Otto Porter and Lauri Markkanen are still going to be out for this team. But Wendell Carter Jr. is back, so they've got, at least it's not like where they had the complete lack of size like they did during that little run last week. I like Levine. I like Kobe White. This Detroit team, obviously, they could attack them inside. I could see that's definitely their path to victory. But I still think I like Chicago here, and I think that, on the perimeter, Detroit's going to have just as much trouble stopping Chicago or even more. Big T, what do you think? Chicago -3, am I crazy for this one?
No, I mean, the Bulls are a team I'm a little underrated, or I think is a little underrated too. I like some of their pieces, how they come together, and I agree. I mean, Detroit just – I don't know. Like, I look at their roster, and first of all, I'm glad they just sat Blake down because we've been saying that. Like, why are you playing this guy? Mm-hmm. And I mean, not to go down the rabbit hole, what Draymond says is ridiculous too. But
let's go down the rabbit hole. What did he say? I missed.
I mean, he's like saying that players are mistreated because the dude is still getting paid to not work. That is not getting mistreated in my book. Like, pay me to not do anything. I'll take it. That's not getting mistreated. That's completely different.
Especially what he's getting paid. Like, pay me that.
It's probably it might be the worst contract in the league now.
That's what I mean. And they tell you get to stay home and not play. Are you kidding me? What's wrong with that, Draymond? And he was like comparing it to what Harden quit on his team. He's getting paid. Like, it's not even the same. Like I said, I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, but it was ridiculous what he said. And I like Draymond. Like, he's usually a sharp dude, but to say someone that's getting paid to not work is mistreated is beyond ridiculous. So I wanted to make that clear.
You know what's worse about that is I almost agree with a lot of the things he says when he's on the mic and he's talking, because he really, to me, he seems like a really sharp and smart guy. So for him to say that, I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that is the worst. That's the dumbest thing you've ever said. And I'm a huge Draymond fan, like Big T. Like, I think he is really sharp. It's just, hey, we all have, we've all said dumb things at times, and it happens to everyone. So we'll take it for that. And I still think Draymond is a sharp dude. He's still one of my favorite DFS players of all time. And we'll keep going with that. But from the Detroit game, I mean, I think that Detroit is the play here. If I had to lean one way, I'd take the points with Detroit. I'm not as high as you guys are on the Bulls.
It's because that no upside Levine. I mean, it's tough to play that no upside Levine.
Well, no, I just think that these are two teams that aren't that great. Chicago doesn't play much defense either. And, Detroit, I think Detroit can stay in this game. And I think they have a shot to win it too. Not that their team's that much better either, even though I think it's honestly not a downgrade that they sat Blake down. Like Big T said, I mean, look at what Mason Plumlee's been doing. And it's not like Mason Plumlee is a world beater, but I mean, 2 games, one, he had a triple-double. One, he was pretty close to it against Brooklyn. Like, God, he's looked really good without Blake. I mean, their team might be a little better without him, honestly, just out him chucking bad shots and trying to handle the ball up top and stuff like that. DC was on the pod with me yesterday. He said Blake hasn't recorded a dunk all season. Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
What? This dude was Lob City. He was Lob City, though, Big T. Like, this was Lob City. Blake Griffin.
That was a lifetime ago. I was skinny when he was Lob City.
That's back when you were medium T. Okay, cool. So I like Chicago. JSU likes Detroit. Who did you have a side on this one, Big T?
I mean, I would lean Chicago with you. I don't have a crazy strong take about it, but I do think Chicago has a better roster. And even though Blake's out, I mean, I look at these dudes like Sadiq Bey and these guys. I don't love these guys. I would lean Chicago, but not strong conviction.
I know we don't do totals too often here, but this one caught my eye down to 219. With Blake out, they're going to play faster. And we know that we've talked about Chicago, right? They score and they don't defend. Seems like a pretty low number for 2021 NBA. What would you say if we just, I didn't have to go against JSU and I just took the over?
I like the over. The last time we agreed on a total, too. That's like the only total I've taken all year. We shipped. We rolled. I forget what game it was last week, but
yeah,
you talked me into it, and then it won by like 30 points, whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, some of these totals are just going over ridiculously. So, I'm going to go ahead and put that one in right now. I'll stay away from the side because I don't necessarily want to go against JSU, but I still do like Chicago here.
You can go against me.
Don't own him.
That way.
All right, I'll let you guys know if I do. I'll definitely drop that in the Discord in the chat because I tell you what, I did circle this one because I told you most of the teams I like today, like Boston and these other teams were on back-to-back. Oh, and the next one's the one that I liked, but they're on a back-to-back again, and that's Minnesota getting 5.5. I think this is another team that is being helped, addition by subtraction. D'Angelo Russell's out. That means more Anthony Edwards minutes. Anthony Edwards is twice the athlete that D'Angelo Russell is. Say what you want about his development and what he needs to do. Watch that guy. He beats everyone off the dribble, and he's not like small like De'Aaron Fox. I mean, he's huge. He can finish in the lane. I'm loving what Anthony Edwards is doing lately. I think he's going to be a much better complement to Karl Anthony Towns than D'Angelo Russell was, even though they're like best friends or whatever. So I love the fact that Russell's out. Edwards is able to step up and basically get more usage. I think it makes the team better, right? Towns is back. Obviously, he's so good on offense, so bad on defense, whatever. And then this is an Indiana team that we've talked about. Ever since they've traded Holiday, they've had that huge hole at the wing, and Sabonis and Turner can't do everything. I love Brogdon, but it just seems like, they're just getting killed on the wing. I mean, this is it's a wing league now. So I was thinking about taking the 5.5 here. I know Big T likes the Dogs. What do you think? You gonna jump in with me?
Yeah, I agree here. I like Minnesota. Athletic bigs against Indiana, too. Towns I don't know if I'd consider him an athletic big, but he is a good big. Should be able to eat against these bigs for Indiana. I think he's a really, really good play DFS-wise, too, tonight. What is this dude all over JSU about steroids for? Like, you in the
woods? Just from my fired up spinoff of our boy Eric and NWO. So,
I think he's just saying that you're looking in such good shape. I mean, I think that's the real good sign that your workout plan's working is when they start thinking about steroids.
I used to be in real good shape. I'm still in decent shape. Used to be in real good shape. Never did the steroids though. Never tried the steroids. Just didn't interest me at all. I remember the Super Pump days though, way back when. If anyone's a workout warrior, they know what Super Pump was. So I remember that stuff.
All right. Well,
yeah, the spread. I'm with you though in the game. Minnesota, Cat, DFS wise, 5.5 feels heavy for this game, so I'm with you.
what do you think, JSU? Do you want to join us and take one of the worst teams in the league to take on an Indiana team that's actually pretty good?
Yeah, I think I will join you in taking the dog here. I think it's a sharp call. I like Minnesota with the points. Obviously, Indiana isn't a bad team, but at the same time, they just haven't looked that great either. I know they're probably a little better, but since the Oladipo trade, they really haven't looked that great. So I'm fine with it. I think Minnesota's the play here. If Doug McDermott is out again, I think TJ McConnell is square in play as a DFS play. I don't mind the cat call, but to me, you talk about athletic bigs. I don't know if I'd put Cat in that category, but he's still a really good center. So I think either way, he could have his way. He can at least extend the floor and hit that three. And his minutes are starting to slowly trend up. When he started, they were keeping him around like 30, 32. And now you saw a little bit more and a little bit more. I think as long as his minutes continue to trend up where we can get him for like 34, 35 minutes in a close game, I think it makes sense as a DFS play. And he'll probably be pretty low owned too, Big T, as like a spend up option. So I don't mind it.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at the over at this game too. It's another game that the money's going to the under. And I understand that for the season, unders have been profitable, but these last 2 weeks they're getting obliterated. I mean, if you look at recency trend, sort your model by last 5, it's going to tell you to take the over in every game, and I'm definitely considering it here as well. The next game that we will be discussing, boy, yeah, we talk about these back-to-back situations, right? Denver, are they getting anyone back? Have you guys checked, or are they running that same? Talk about a stars. It looks like a DFS lineup where you spent up, right? And then you got all these 3K players running around with Jokic and Murray. Like, what's going on there?
All those guys are questionable, I think, too, right? Like all the guys that were out yesterday, like Millsap and Barton. I'm pretty sure they're all like questionable to play. So we won't have that.
So we're gonna have to wait till like 4:00 really to
like even Dozier, properly, huh? like all these guys, they're all Q tagged. So we're gonna definitely have to wait on that news. I don't know. My assumption is that like since they're all Q tagged, like some of these guys might be almost there.
No, they're not gonna play.
You don't think so?
Okay. So you think it's going to be that same stars and scrubs?
Yeah. The only guy that I think has any chance to play is Monte.
Yeah, because he didn't get ruled out till like 40 minutes before the game started last night, and that's when I went ahead and locked out Boston in because I'm just like, what are they going to do on the wing? Now that being said, Washington doesn't necessarily have those big wings to take advantage like Boston did. I don't know. I guess let's just wait for this game. And I guess my main question then would be and I want to talk about our guy Campazzo, Big T. You know, he's off to a slow start, but he
guys, so we did get some news. So Gary Harris is still questionable.
Okay.
Jokic is probable with a thumb issue. Paul Millsap is out. Will Barton is out. Monte Morris is questionable. So a few guys are out. A few guys are still questionable. Big T said Monte is the only one he thinks has a chance to play. He's one of the questionable guys, along with Gary Harris. I don't see Dozier.
Dozier's definitely not playing.
Okay, so
yeah.
Oh yeah, PJ Dozier remains out, hamstring. So yep. So those are the guys. Monte.
Gary Harris was pretty spry on the bench. I'll say that. Yesterday he was up off the bench rooting a lot. Gary Harris maybe could play. I mean, definitely those other guys. Oh, you said they're
assuming we get Morris and Harris. Would you like Denver there laying the 3.5, or do you think this is a Washington spot?
God, it looks like a tough spot for Denver. I don't know, man. It looks like a trap spot to me. Everyone's going to like Denver back-to-back. Washington sucks. But the problem is, man, Washington's 2 guys are going to give Denver fits. And I don't know. if Denver plays good, they'll win. But man, it seems like a tricky spot for them, and it's tough to bet it early in the day too because we just don't know. If Monte and Gary Harris both play, I definitely like Denver. I'll say that much because it gives them 2 extra guards, 2 extra wing defenders. It just helps them a lot. I mean, some of these lineups Denver was running out yesterday with the concur. Let me pull their roster up. Who are these dudes they had out there?
It was absolutely terrible.
They had Howard out there.
Marcus Howard, Hartenstein, Conqueror, whatever his name is. I mean,
Luke
God, it was bad. I mean, if they run that team out again. Whew.
Did you see the one play where R.J. Hampton literally just left Jaylen Brown under the basket and he was wide open for like a dunk and then he just got pulled right away like in the first half? It was absolutely egregious, like one of the worst things I've ever seen. Like he just literally just let him just sit under the basket and just have a layup. Like I was like, what is going on? And then he gets pulled.
Yeah, I mean it is definitely ugly. But one thing I will say, if these guys are out again, I went to like Zeke yesterday. He played 26 minutes, 24 the game before. The dude is still cheap, and he looked decent to me. He just didn't have a ton of usage. I'm not scared to come right back with these Denver guys in fantasy. They let JaMychal Green, everyone played his chalk. He busted. I'm not scared to come back with him today. We just got to wait on news so much in this game because I will like it again. I think Jokic is going to be one of the higher-owned guys finally. And the funny thing is, I've played him every time. I don't like him tonight as much as everyone does. It's weird that now I'm going to get off as everyone gets on. But
and are you worried about fatigue? Because I don't think Denver's got anyone to stop him. I mean, Robin Lopez.
I just think it's all matchups though. Like last night, and JSU knows this too. Like Boston played him single coverage all night. He ate. Washington's not going to play single coverage. They're just going to double him, so it doesn't matter.
I think you're giving Scott Brooks a little too much credit. I mean, does that guy have any strategy at all?
I mean, if they single cover him, he's gonna crush just like last night. I mean, he's gonna. I told JSU.
I didn't think that was necessarily a bad strategy by Boston.
I told JSU just a week ago. If I was playing this Denver team, I would single cover him every night, make him score 50 and beat me.
Yeah, and then you watch the other guys that weren't scoring, weren't touching the ball. They look lethargic on defense.
Yeah.
You know,
but here's the thing: is why the reason why Tony is saying this is because Jokic doesn't want to score 50. He wants to get everyone involved, make for everyone. He wants to play team basketball the right way. If you force him to do that, that's not what he wants to do. He literally wants to, he wants to score a little bit, but he really just wants to be in control of the offense. He wants to touch the ball every single time they get down the floor and really command where everyone is going and what everyone's doing. He wants to be able to see the floor and then make plays, whether it's for himself or others. That's the way he wants to play. If you force him into trying to score 50 every single night, that's not what he wants to do. Now, can he do it? I think he could. Like, honestly, I think he could. If you single coverage him, I think he could easily average 30 points a night, no problem, in his sleep. And could he drop 40? Like, yeah, of course he could. He's that good of a scorer, but it's not his game. It's not what he wants to do, which is different than what he can do, right?
Yeah, and we've heard Porter talk about when the ball doesn't go through the hoop for him, he loses energy on the defensive end. And we saw it not with just him, with a lot of guys last night because, you know, as much as we know those guys can't create and they're not the best NBA players, the effort wasn't there. You know, it really looked like Jokic was carrying that team. So must have been a frustrating night for him altogether. Interesting to see how this team bounces back. But you guys got it right. I mean, if we really want to take this game, you know, from an educated standpoint, we're going to have to wait till you guys go on live at 2:30 my time, 5:30 Eastern, and wait for the injury news, and then we can properly diagnose how to get involved in this game. So I'll be watching Big T. If you get the news and you want to shout out a side, I'd love to hear it. The next game that we'll be talking about is the team that burned me last night. You know what? If I was a Pelicans fan, I would just pay me to come on this show and run down the Pelicans every single time they play, because every single time I go on a rant about how they're not good, they show out with just a fantastic performance. And I watched that last night, and I felt like I just didn't look at the matchup, right? I mean, New Orleans was bigger at every position, right? It looked like a varsity team playing a JV team. They were just bigger. They got in the paint with ease. I mean, Zion's getting triple covered, still getting to the rim. It was just a terrible matchup for Memphis, and I feel really bad that I overlooked the individual matchup, and I just wanted to play the team that I thought was playing well against the team that I thought was playing bad. So now this team, New Orleans team, coming off a 20-point blowout, plays a Portland team who Portland played last night as well, right? Oh yeah, they had Oklahoma City. The whole game they looked like Oklahoma City was going to cover. They did a nice little spurt at the end here, and now Portland is on a how many game win streak? 5-game win streak, and what is this? 7 of their last 9 they've won. So Portland has been playing well without McCollum and everyone, and they will be getting 3 points in New Orleans. Boy, I lean towards Portland right off the bat here, but I've been getting these New Orleans games wrong. So, Big T, what do you think? You like the dog here?
Yeah, no, this is for sure a New Orleans spot for me.
Okay.
I'm higher on New Orleans than most people. I actually like their roster. I think probably more than most do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love when they play the bigs like they do, but man, it's tough to score on them inside. If they don't play teams that can beat you from the perimeter, which Dame can, obviously, they struggle. But man, I don't know how Portland's going to guard these guys. They just have no bigs. I think it's a clear mismatch, just like you talked about with last night. Zion and Ingram and even Bledsoe gets to the hole, and Adams if Adams doesn't play, my boy Big Willie's getting back in there. He's going to be in play.
He's going to play. He's not on the injury report. Adams. Yeah. They said that he could have went back in if the game was closer last night, but because the game wasn't close, they just held him out. So he said he could have went back in if they needed to. But so yeah, I knew right when I heard that he was going to be in, and then he wasn't on the injury report this morning. So he's good.
All right, JSU, what do you think? Big T's actually making me change my mind here. He's bringing up a great point, and maybe some of the things I overlooked last night are the same things that I'm overlooking right now, and I should be looking at the Pelicans side. What do you think? Do you agree with Big T?
Yeah, I agree from the standpoint. I don't agree that I think the roster construction for this team is just wrong. I'll keep saying it because it is. Like you're doing it wrong when you have a bunch of non-shooters around Zion and you're playing a guy like Steven Adams. It's a recipe for disaster long term. You're not going to win with a team like this. But ultimately, talent-wise, they have a ton of talent. That's not saying that these guys aren't talented, that the team isn't talented. It's just constructed wrong, in my opinion. For this game, though, there is no way Portland has any answer for any of these guys. How are they going to guard Zion? You're going to put Carmelo on him? Derrick Jones Jr.? This is a mismatch all around the board. And then if they ever tried to double him or anything like that, Steven Adams, he's gonna score bunnies in the friggin' paint every single time. So to me, this is a clear New Orleans spot. I don't see any way that Portland, outside of just score them just putting up a ton of points and staying in it, and maybe they get lucky at the end and, Dame keeps them in it. Dame has one of those monster games, which I could see because like Tony said, you can't do much with them inside, but on the perimeter, they do have shooters, right, Tony? Portland is a team where they can get hot. Gary Trent's a shooter. He can get hot. Dame can get hot, obviously. Melo can do work, but at the end of the day, New Orleans this is a terrible matchup for Portland. I'll take New Orleans here. I think they win this game, so I lean them.
This reminds me of a couple weeks ago when we were on the show, and I came on and said Milwaukee would beat Portland by 30. They beat them by 30. New Orleans is going to pound. I'd be stunned tonight if Portland wins. Stunned if they win. The spread's only, 3?
It's 3.5 now.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
You guys have convinced me. I'm joining you guys now. I've completely. You guys made great points, and I actually placed a New Orleans bet while we were talking because now that I'm thinking about it more and more, everything that you guys say is spot on. So let's go to the team that disappointed me last night, and that's the Memphis Grizzlies as they host the Oklahoma City Thunder. Grizzlies are -7. Boy, watching that last night, tough to see. And we know the Thunder like to keep games close. What do you guys see I know that we got, kind of snipered with Maladon jumping in the lineup. What are you guys seeing as far as the Thunder? Are they getting back to actually having maybe 10 players available?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they should have another guy because I'm pretty sure SGA is close to returning. That might be already out there. I know I'm seeing still Q tag, but it looks like he's gonna play.
But he's been doubtful every other day before, so.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see if any other news dropped on him. But either way, it looks like they're getting healthy. And, this Memphis team, 7 points against a team like OKC, who's been hanging in there with better teams than Memphis. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I know it's on a back-to-back, but 7 points, I might kind of lean the dog and just take the points if I have a lean here. I don't think Memphis is – I think Memphis is a well-coached team, but 7 points against a team like OKC who's been playing pretty well, even with all these guys out, and now possibly they get their best player back. I don't know. I think I lean the dog if I had to take a stand.
Yeah, I have this one at 4, so I was surprised. This is the one that was the farthest away from the way that I make my numbers. So this one jumped out to me as a play. Maybe I'm just bitter and I want to fade Memphis after that terrible performance last night. Big T, am I bitter? Am I being too recent? Or should I go ahead and take the points here?
The best thing you've said all year is when we did that preseason one with your buddy, and you said OKC early in the season. I've taken them almost every game. I just like them as a dog. You give me these points, they're going to battle for you. Yeah, you're going to have some games where you hate yourself because they just suck. But overall, our goal is to profit. And I think more times than not, which is all that matters, they're going to show up and cover for you. Memphis isn't anything great either. Like, you say that the number's 7, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm definitely on OKC here with you. Memphis isn't good enough to give anybody 7. They got 2 guys that are any good. I don't like Memphis's roster that much. Definitely give me OKC plus 7. I love that. And honestly, ever since you said that on that preseason show, just every game, they might be my favorite against the spread team. I don't know what their record is against the spread. You probably do.
They're 16-11 against the spread.
Yeah, like
on an 11-16 record. So that just shows you they're losing and covering.
They're always going to be like a 7 to 10 point dog, which is perfect for them because look at their roster. Nobody's good, but they all battle. Horford and Dort. Muscala battles. Diallo's a great defender. Kenrich is a good defender. They just battle. Give me these guys as a dog every time.
All right. Well, we're all aligned in this game.
We've been aligned on a lot today. This is a good sign.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it works out for us. Hopefully, they're not getting bored with us just agreeing with each other. Usually, you and JSU are getting some hard disagreements here, and even on the one
we'll fight somewhere. We'll fight somewhere soon.
We're running out of games.
So. We only have 2 games left to disagree on, so hopefully this is one of them. Miami heading to Golden State. You know the Warriors. We talked about Draymond earlier. Golden State is taking money. I have no idea what's going on with this Miami lineup now. What are you guys seeing? I'm seeing Bradley and Dragic out for sure on the Golden State side out. I'm seeing Wiseman and Looney, so no center. Is that a bio? Does that mean he's going to eat? I like Golden State here. But, boy, this Miami team, I think I've been underestimating them. I think they're finally getting back to full strength. And, I could be underestimating them, and it just could be, me being in Northern California and reading Warrior stuff 24 hours a day, just always reading about the Warriors. So what do you think, Big T? Is this a great spot for Miami to win on the road, or do you like Golden State to cover as the short home favorite?
Yeah, I don't have a strong take. I mean, I think what you said is compelling too. Miami started to look good just when I was ready to write them off, finals hangover, bubble hangover. They started to get healthy when Jimmy came back, and they've started to play a lot better. And it's just one of those matchups where I think this is a true coin flip game that could go back and forth, and whoever makes shots at the end wins. I like how they match up with each other. They match up pretty good to where they should be in a pretty good game here. So I think I'm going to stay away in this one. I'm interested in it. I never want to play Iggy, but Iggy against his old team at basically min price, he catches my eye a little bit tonight. I don't know why. Maybe JSU can talk me off it because he does suck these days.
And JSU, also give me a breakdown of Bam here, because These centers for Golden State, I don't see how Bam just doesn't go crazy.
I mean, I think Draymond can guard him though.
See, the problem with Bam, and I talked about this on the pod with DC too about Bam, because I think Bam's in a really good spot. And yeah, Draymond can pester him, I guess. But the best thing about Draymond's defense is honestly that he can switch on to anyone really. But like Bam is just a complete mismatch because Bam can get it done playmaking. He's going to be a monster on the boards. Like he can give them fits on the boards. I think Bam gets it done here. I think this is.
We can disagree. We didn't make it to the finish.
All right.
All we needed was this game.
So how about the side there, JSU? Because I mean, me and Big T have been teeing around,
So
hanging on
here's
the
the
fence.
thing: is like Tony talks about Miami's been improved since Jimmy's been back, and yeah, they have. But then all of a sudden they lay an egg to the Clippers, who are without PG, Kawhi, like. Their best players were Marcus Morris and Lou Williams. Even though I love Lou Williams, but like Marcus Morris, Lou Williams, Reggie Jackson. I mean, that's rough. Okay, but
I don't think their roster's that bad without those guys. I mean, obviously they're not going to contend, but for a regular season game, right? I mean, Lou gives you scoring. Marcus is a good defender.
They lost to him by 7, and it wasn't really at the end. They kind of got like. I don't know. I think that's a letdown. That's
Miami
clear
shot
letdown
terribly
spot.
in that game. I mean, if
no,
Miami
they
shot
did.
Better,
they did, but in my eyes, that's still a game where you still got to be able to get over that game like that. But who knows? They played down to the Clippers, in my opinion, anyway. So maybe that's just the case. To me, though, I think Miami is just Golden State is not a good team. They're just not. They're not the same team. Steph is. He's like a streaky shooter. Like when he's hot, he is unstoppable. He is just, like unstoppable. But it doesn't last every single game, all game too. He could be hot for a quarter where he gets like 20 real points in a quarter, and then he fades for like 2 quarters, and you're like, where'd he go? Like what happened? So to me, I think Jimmy Butler. This is going to be a tough matchup for Golden State, and I like Miami. I'll take Miami. I think Miami wins. I know the spread's pretty close anyways. I'm seeing that like 1.5.
Miami take the money line. You'll get like
yeah. I'll just take the money line and lean the Miami side here.
All right. So I was kind of wishy-washy on the side, but I'll tell you what, I do like the over here. I don't think Golden State defends that well, and we know Miami likes to slow it down, right? But I just don't think Golden State's going to get the stops. So even if they're playing at a slow pace, if you score almost every time down the court, you're going to go over here. For 2021, 222 is a pretty low total. What do you guys think? You guys going to join me here and jump in the over?
I joined you on the other 2 overs. I don't know if I can join you on this one.
No,
I don't feel good about the under though either. So I'm not like saying I disagree. I don't have conviction on it. Put it that way.
Okay. What do you think, JSU?
I mean, I'm kind of on the side of Big T here, where it's like I would lean the over the under, but it's not really. I'd rather just take Miami. Like I think Miami ends up winning. And from a DFS side, like Jimmy Butler, I've been saying like. I look at Jimmy Butler every single slate, and he ends up like not a guy that I like go super heavy on, and I don't know why. Like the last slate, I was like, Jimmy Butler's in such a good spot. I end up not playing him because of whatever news and whatever. But God, like he has been playing so well. Like he has got to be someone you look at here at 8,800. He's just been playing worth it. I mean, the dude has triple-double upside. He had a triple-double last night. But look at how consistent. He's had 10 assists in his last 3 of the last 4 games. Like, he's had 10 rebounds in 2 of 4. And the other 2, he had 8. Like, the dude has just been balling and doing everything for this team, scoring, like, everything. So, Jimmy Butler is square in play as a good spend up here.
All right. Now, this last game would have been like the game of the night when I was, looking at the schedule for the whole week like I usually do on Sunday. This was a game that I circled as must-see TV. And now it's, I'll probably have it on while I'm like watching a movie or something. And that's the Utah Jazz heading to the Clippers. And the reason I'm not excited about it anymore is I think that we're not going to have either Leonard or George, right? I mean, I know George is out for sure. And then I think I read before that Leonard came on, but it was just on Twitter. It wasn't a reputable source. Do you guys have news, and are you expecting Leonard to be out? Because if so, I think this kind of takes some of the luster off the game.
I don't have set news. I thought he was going to play, though, just off the top of my head, but I don't. Honestly, I don't.
I'll see if I can find who.
He's still questionable right now. So from what I'm seeing, anyways, he's still listed as questionable. So
okay. So,
I like this being the late game, though, just because I don't have a ton of interest either way. Like, both teams are very solid, just teams. They're just really good teams. Play good D. No matter who's in there, like Spread said a minute ago about the Heat game, they still have guys that go in there and battle, and the prices are up on guys like Lou and some of these role pieces to where, honestly, like, it really doesn't impact me that much whether he plays or not. Because betting-wise, I don't think I'm going to bet this game either way. And DFS-wise, I don't love it either compared to other games. So it's one of these spots where people will discuss this game like in the Discord. I just like block it out. Like I just pretend this game doesn't exist almost. I don't know if that's right or wrong. It's probably wrong, honestly, but it's just what I do in my process. I don't like this game, so I'm going to ignore it.
Yeah, and I watched the show a lot, so I've heard you talk about the bad part about these late games too is you can't pivot out, right?
Yeah.
If something does happen,
at least they have one more game tonight, but still, there's not a lot of options.
Yeah, so that's always going to be tough. So, all right, well, I'm capping it, and then I'm assuming Kawhi is out. And let's say we do get that news and it's confirmed and the line doesn't move. That's Utah -3.5. I'm looking to take the road favorite, even though that's not crazy. I don't think they're going to lay down like Miami. I think they want to send a message. And we talked about it when I was doing the podcast. We were just talking general NBA yesterday. Not necessarily breaking down each individual game. And we talked about how important it was for Utah to get the number 1 seed. The idea being their ideal path to the finals is both the LA teams meeting 2 and 3, and they only have to beat one LA team to get there, right? So I think this is a team that we can count on in the regular season. I mean, we talk about how good Utah is. I mean, how much of that is health, though? I mean, they haven't missed any players either. They're coming in fully healthy tonight. I like Utah here. So I know that we're not going to place any bets right now or give it out as an official play. But, I mean, are you guys with me if Kawhi's out and this line stays at 3.5 that I should be on Utah?
Something needs to be said, too, for, like, chemistry right now. In this NBA, in this, year that with the COVID and everything like that, and guys just popping up on the injury report or the COVID contact tracing report, and they're now out for a week because, maybe they didn't get it, but they were in contact with someone who had it, and they need to get X amount of tests. And so the teams that haven't faced that, which probably are few and far, but it seems like for the most part, Utah, I know Mike Conley's been out a few games, but for the most part, their team has stayed intact. They haven't lost, I don't think anyways, they haven't lost like 4 or 5 players, to the contact tracing. Like a bunch of these other teams have, whether it's the injuries. I mean, look at the Brooklyn team. How many games have we gotten Harden, KD, and Kyrie all together? Like, they haven't played that much. Like, that's a contender. Like, all these contenders, Kawhi and PG, well, these guys have been in and out of the lineup, like whether it's due to injury or whatnot. And that's there's something to be said to that. So, I mean, Utah maybe they look like one of the best teams or the best team in the league right now because maybe they just have like the best chemistry right now going with the guys they have, and their team is a solid team all around. So it's not like they aren't a solid basketball team.
It's a great point, JSU. I mean, they're one of the few teams that actually probably the players show up at the arena and they know what the rotation is, right? The reserves know I'm coming in at this guy. These are the guys that I'm playing with, right? I come out here, right? I need to take advantage of these minutes where guys on the Clippers, right? They go from Lou Williams. There was nights that he wasn't barely even playing. Now he's playing this huge role. When the other two come back, I mean, how much is he going to play? They're in and out of the lineup. It's really hard, like you said, to gather continuity. So, I mean, I think you make a great point there. So, I mean, boy, I'm expecting Kawhi to sit, and if he does, or Kawhi, I always call him Kawhi. If Kawhi sits, I'm going to go ahead and play Utah. So I'll be tuned into your guys' show tonight, Big Team, waiting for the official news before I place that wager. Anything more on this game before we go ahead and wrap this whole thing up?
I mean, I just to add on to what you guys were saying, I think Utah is a perfect example of a team that's built for the regular season too. Their style, the way they play, they defend. People hate going to Utah on a back-to-back in different situations. None of these guys like everything compounds into them being a great regular season team. You get to the playoffs, there's no back-to-backs. There's tons of things that weigh into it, but they're not nearly as well built for a playoff run as a regular season run, in my mind. We even said it again to circle back on that pod we did with your buddy before the year. We basically said that, like, Utah is set up to make a run at the 1 seed, I think we said. And it's because of how they're built. Like, this is a regular season built team.
Yes, it is. And so I think that they'll continue their regular season dominance. Now, if Kawhi plays, I'm definitely going to rethink that because he's obviously one player that, boy, you got to like his matchup, right? Going against Ingles or Bogdanovich. I mean, come on, he should be eating left and right, and he can also give them problems the other way. So let's do.
I think you're on the winner. The more I'm looking at it, you're on. I like Utah.
Yeah. So, and let's just wait for that news. I'll be tuning in. I'll watching you guys have all that fun that you guys always do on the afternoon/evening show, depending on where you are in the country. And then we'll lock that in. And once we have the official news. So to sum it up for everyone, here's some games that we all agreed on. We like the Knicks -4. We like the Thunder +7. We like the Pelicans -3.5. And we like the T-Wolves +5.5. And we're going over with the Pistons and the Bulls. So those are the ones we agreed on. But JSU, we got to do it. You know, I mean, it's almost like if you run a gambling show, you got to do it. You got to give out one best bet. So why don't you go ahead and give them your best bet, side or total for the whole card, or even a prop if you want to go that way.
No, we'll stick with the game here. I whiffed on the prop yesterday, so we're going away from the props today. Okay. I am going to take. It's close because I do like the Minnesota with the points a lot, but I think I'm going with Miami. I like Miami. I'm taking them money line. I like them to win tonight, coming off that loss to the Clippers. So give me Miami to win.
All right, Big T. What's your best bet for the evening?
First of all, I might literally bet all those ones you just said we agreed on.
I wrote them off my my pending queue because I bet them all.
I feel really good about all that. What was there, 5 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good about those 5 that we go. I mean, 3-2 or 4-1, definitely to make some money. So I like that. But I mean, for sure, my best play of the night is New Orleans. I think New Orleans pounds Portland. I definitely, if I had to bet only one game, it would definitely be New Orleans.
All right, and I'll go ahead. I was going to take New Orleans, but since you went ahead and grabbed that one for me, I'll just pivot right, and I'll take the Thunder. They've been covering machines 16-11 against the spread. Expect them to keep it close against Memphis here, and that should be a lot of fun. So once again, guys, I mean, hey, we did pretty good for a 10-game slate. I was worried that we'd have a 2-hour show. We got out of here in an hour. We got everything broken down, and we gave out a ton of plays. It's not like anyone who watched is going to sit there and think that they wasted their hour. I mean, they're going to have plenty of action tonight if they followed along and they were betting the plays as we talked about them like I was. So, guys, this is brought to you by RunPureBets.com. Please head over to RunPureBets. That's where you can get all the official best plays for me. And I'm the NBA guy, right? We got Tyler doing NBA. We got HTP doing NBA. But we also got Joey Work doing college basketball. We got JJ doing college basketball and tennis. And we got Jay, the Sports Cake CEO. He's knocking out NASCAR. He's killing UFC. And his NFL record was just fantastic this year. So that's what you get on the bet side. You can go ahead and combine it with the DFS side, then you get JSU's core, you'll get Big T's core, you get AP's core, you'll get Mangone's core. For whatever site you're playing on, you get a Yahoo core, a FanDuel core, a DraftKings core. You build your lineup from there. You head to the cash chart. I mean, I don't know anything about DFS, and I'm still hanging in the game and being able to do it just going off their core sheets. You combine that with the content, the closing show. You'll get Big T's show that's free, but then the subscribers get to jump on over to the closing line, and that's got always got Holden on it, right? Is Mangone going to be on there with him tonight too?
No, it's me. I get to spend my night with Holden. Sometimes Tony will grace us with his presence and go back to back.
Yeah.
And we're honored when he can grace us with his presence. We're just honored.
Yeah, I mean JSU. I mean, I'm not just saying this because he's on the show with us. Literally one of the best DFS players in the world. So you're going up to lock live with JSU, and Holden's a really fun guy to hang out with too. So, guys,
You don't have to lie. Holden's not fun to hang out with.
Head on over to runpurebets.com. Head on over to Run Pure Sports. Combine them both, $100 a month. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow it will be Mangone and Tyler, and then on Friday it'll be Tyler and AP. So thank you guys for joining us, and run